The new documentary, The Stones and Brian Jones, shines a light on the founding member and hellraiser of the Rolling Stones. There's no better time for the new documentary, The Stones and Brian Jones, to enter theaters and VOD, as this very journal claims that the Rolling Stones' new album Hackney Diamonds is the finest the English rockers have sounded in about half a century. The original ringleader and co-founder of the Rolling Stones, Brian Jones, happened to cross paths with documentary director Nick Broomfield when he was just 14 years old. The drugged-out guitarist was discovered dead at the bottom of his swimming pool in 1969 at the age of 27 after being fired from the rock band 6 years earlier. Since then, the 75-year-old filmmaker who has produced documentaries on everyone from Biggie and Tupac to serial criminal Aileen Wuornos and Sarah Palin has questioned why the train's rock star died so young. According to Broomfield, Jones was by himself on the train when I knocked on the door and we spoke for around 20 minutes, according to Rolling Stone. He disclosed that he was a train spotter while being quite courteous and middle class. He was a train buff. 6 years later, he passed away. I've always been curious about the fate of the person who seemed so content, joyful, famous, and successful. Broomfield claims he knows Mick Jagger and some of the other Stones, but they're quite controlling, so he didn't include them in the documentary. One reason there aren't any movies about this time period is that no one has ever been successful in producing one. So we simply made this movie and then showed it to others, he claims. It was wonderful when Bill Wyman joined the team because he was the Stones' diarist and note-taker. He kept a journal of what transpired each day and keeps all these diaries in his study. Broomfield says it took him and his crew several years to gather all the historical data utilized in the Stones and Brian Jones, and the majority of the film has never been seen before. In order to keep audiences in the 60s and avoid dragging them out of it with modern sit-down interviews, he hired 3 archivists full-time and gathered a ton of material. The archivist and owner of all the footage, Bill Wyman, was astounded when we first showed him the movie because he hadn't seen it before, relates Broomfield. When the Stones' own archivist is taken by surprise, I believe you're doing all right. According to Broomfield, Brian Jones' tribute to the Stones and Brian Jones, examines the power struggle that took place between Jones and Mick and Keith. Additionally, it should put an end to the weird conspiracies surrounding Jones' passing.